Today I would like to start with going back to Tara. Many of you, I think most of you who are here, we're also in the Tara group. I think we did it for 1 year. Yeah. And also as a lot of the people online explored the Tara practice. And in the Tibetan iconography, the symbol which comes closest to the source, to mind itself, is Tara. So she symbolizes emptiness. And if you remember, one of the words I used for Tara is the Great Mother. So she is described as the womb of reality. Everything arises from her and dissolves back into her. And one of her mudras is that her right leg is stretched out. So that symbolizes that the movement within the fullness, which is emptiness, is in the nature of love, is in the nature of compassion, moves forward in a gesture of goodness. And it's so important when we explore emptiness or mind itself or the nature of mind, that we don't forget the paradox that the emptiness we are exploring here is full of everything. It moves. And Tara is symbolizing that. So when we connect with Tara, and I want to kind of this evening to imbue this evening with her presence. You know, the Tara mantra. And those of you who have found some connection with her last year, you know, I invite you to really call upon her and feel her presence. So that when we talk about mind itself and emptiness, that there is a recognition of that fullness, of that movement of love. So our practice, our main practice, connected with the exploration of mind itself, is the practice of just being here, like stepping into this experience as completely as possible. So let's do that, while having a sense of that this is the temple of Tara. So how do you step into what is happening is, we can start with what you see. So shapes and colors. I see many beautiful faces, and you just see this one, but kind of look around. There's Shinrezik, there's the flowers for Tara, and there's the embodiment of Tara through the Karmapa and His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then the Buddha, and then there's a light offering. Colors, white, red, the light. And all that is empty. all that is unfindable, yet it appears. And that appearance, so that's Tara. So in the practice of Tara, we recognize what we see as movements of the Great Mother. As her radiance. And everything is so beautiful when you recognize it as manifestation of the creativity of the source. Like even like just a wall, with some dirt on it. So everything is recognized as the mandala of Tara. And then we can move through hearing, without, not the kind of letting go of the looking, of the seeing. So we move to hearing. And we step into hearing completely. So there's my voice, there's the hum of the air condition, there's some sounds from outside, and maybe you have some inner sounds. Even if you don't have a tinnitus, there might be some sound. Sometimes one can hear one's own breath or your heartbeat, and in the practice of Tara, all of that is recognized, is perceived as the mantra of Tara, the song of Tara. Another manifestation, a creative manifestation of the source. And it's empty. It's unfindable. We can't really say where it is, where it comes from, yet it appears. So emptiness and appearance, emptiness is full and fullness is the same. Emptiness is not something behind this. It's not like we need to break through to something which seems to obscure or cloud the source. Every movement, every sound, every sight is the radiance of the source. And then we move to sensations. So here I'm not talking about this kind of focused mindfulness practice. Yeah? So we move into sensations while we are still seeing, while we are still hearing. Yeah. Of course, maybe the hearing then goes a bit into the background, into peripheral awareness, but it's still there. And we can feel the sensations in our body. So what's happening in the body? Maybe you feel some contraction. Maybe you feel some pleasant energy flowing, the breath. maybe you have some emotional energy. So in the practice of Tara also, those movements are movements, manifestations, is the radiance of Tara, is the radiance of the source. In the same way as what you see and what you hear, it's all empty, unfindable, but it appears. And then there's thoughts. And with thoughts it's the same. They are recognized as the thoughts of Tara. We don't need to listen to the content of the thoughts, but we can recognize them as a mysterious energy, the radiance of the source. And they appear, but they are empty. So that's the mandala of Tara. So now, what is experiencing all of this? What is experiencing all of that? What is perceiving this? What is receiving this? So when you have so what might happen at that moment when that question comes and meets your heart, you might experience a shift. So not only there is awareness of sight, sound, sensations in the body, there's also a recognition that there is awareness. So when I say a recognition that there is awareness, don't listen to the words. It's a very crude description. There is a consciousness, or there is the recognition that you are conscious. And then we get lost in thoughts. So you have maybe a thought like, I don't know what he's talking about, I don't understand this. Or, yeah, now I can feel something. So you recognize that as thought. And then again, what is experiencing this? What is aware? So notice what happens with that question. There's nothing there. Yet everything appears in that. And notice that when you sit in the midst of your experience as it is, seeing, hearing, feeling your breath, feeling your feelings, unfiltered, without stories. And you ask, what is aware? You can't say where the awareness comes from. So the looking, the hearing, the feeling, the sensing doesn't come from here, doesn't come from a center. So what you might experience, or a possibility which arises when you step into your experience like that, is that it's all awareness. It's the awareness comes more from everywhere. There might not be the experience that you are somewhere in your body and you're aware of this and you're aware of this voice, but that you don't know where the awareness comes from. Notice thoughts as thoughts. Not to get rid of them, or not to make them as a problem. What we attempt to do is not to step into the room of the thoughts, because then we are not here. And then you can ask again, what is aware? What is experiencing this? And there's nothing there. Yet everything appears within that. So, and then again going back to Tara, invoking her presence. Recognizing this as the temple of Tara. Remember or reconnect with experiences of Tara practice where you felt bathed in the loving gaze, where you felt like a 3-year-old in the lap of the mother. Safe, seen, loved. But then you let go of the symbols. So if I say Tara, then we might, it's beautiful to have like a image of, similar to this one, green in color or red in color. And maybe we have a moment where we connect with a teacher like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, so symbols, we invite that. Tara is the love of emptiness, Tara is the smile of emptiness, the creativity of emptiness, the potentiality of emptiness. So we go from a symbolic experience to a non-symbolic experience. So this is not a practice of stepping into the witness. It's also a valuable practice sometimes. It's a practice of dissolving completely into experience as it is. No separation. There's nobody, oh, I'm witnessing this, or I'm aware of this, or I'm focusing on this. But the I falls away. And then there's only experience, as it is. And that experience is empty. There's nothing there. Yet it's so full, so vibrant. And then again, what is aware? What is experiencing this? So we are not only, there's not only awareness of what is happening, but there's also awareness of awareness. And that cognized nature, that receptivity, is sometimes outshining the content. Not in the sense that it dissolves everything. Everything stays as it is. So this practice is available to you in any moment. Or throughout the day, take moments where you can sit down, possibly outside, maybe in a busy place, in a coffee shop. And of course it makes sense to kind of settle down a bit, or create some space, and then you just allow to happen what we just went through. So you're just open to seeing. You just look around. Colors and shapes. And then you move to hearing. And then you move into the body. Just noticing what is there. And then maybe at one point you might not even need to ask the question anymore. What is aware? What is experiencing this? It's so obvious. There's sounds, there's sensations, there's feelings, there's thoughts. So there must be also mind itself. There must be also the cognized nature of consciousness. And then, if that feels somewhat dry or somewhat empty, too much of emptiness, then you call upon Tara. Maybe just reciting her mantra a few times, connecting with her image, and then you let go of the symbols. You just invoke her energy, her presence, as a possibility to remind you that emptiness and love is the same thing. So let's sit a little bit longer in this. If you like, you can close your eyes so we can go a bit into a meditative awareness. And softening. It's also helpful to drop into the body. And with the out breaths, softening the belly, the shoulders, the face. Recognizing thoughts as thoughts, and recognizing the possibility not to step into the rooms of the thoughts. stepping into the energy of the body. You don't need to particularly focus on anything, but if something comes to the foreground, you allow that to happen. Notice that everything is just appearing. Jingme Lingpa in verse 1.6 describes this way of being as uncontrived naturalness. Uncontrived naturalness. And sometimes without thinking a lot, somehow we feel, our intuition feels the meaning of the word. Uncontrived naturalness. Uncontrived means non-interfering, non-fixing, non-controlling, not adding. And naturalness means to bring yourself along, just as you are. To feel yourself as completely as possible. If you notice that you step into a room, a conceptual room, that's fine. But notice the possibility to drop back into the felt sense of your body. So we gravitate towards present moment awareness, which includes everything which is happening right now. If you feel that it is wholesome to stabilize the mind for a while with the rising and falling of your belly or your hands or something else, of course that's a good thing. Gently and without effort. But then after a while you might be able again to include sounds, sights, feelings, thoughts, touch. And notice the rainbow-like nature of appearances. Even the appearance of solidness, like the solidness of sitting on the chair. Or it feels like you're sitting on something solid. if you look at the experience of solidness, there's nothing there. There's no solidness there. The experience of solidness is empty, yet it appears. Recognize thoughts as thoughts, not aggressively. Just recognize that's a thought. And then, what is aware? What is experiencing this? Some people might experience a sense of vastness, a sense of spaciousness after that question. Some kind of stopping. Some kind of wonderment. What is aware? And you can't say where the awareness comes from. It doesn't come from the I, because awareness is aware of the I. It doesn't come from this body, because awareness is aware of this body. It doesn't come from you, because awareness is aware of you. It doesn't come from this room, because awareness is aware of this room. It doesn't come from this earth, because awareness is aware of this earth. It doesn't come from anywhere, but it's everywhere. And then, again, the possibility to invoke the presence of Tara. Please, Great Mother, reveal yourself. I'm ready. I know you're residing in my heart and in the heart of all living beings. You reside everywhere. Please reveal yourself. I'm ready. all-dissolving gaze of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, his humor, his earthiness. But then you move into a non-symbolic experience. Just notice when you enter the rooms of thoughts, of past, future, the rooms of commentaries. Of course, all of that is also empty. And then effortlessly you find yourself here. Not knowing where He is, not knowing what this is. And notice, without doing anything, it goes on and on and on. Everything happens by itself. What is experiencing this? What is receiving this? What is aware? Awareness of awareness. That which is aware is not somewhere else. Awareness and what you're aware of is happening in the same place. The awareness of this voice and the voice are not separate from each other. The awareness of the sensations in your body, of your feelings, and the feelings and the sensations in your body are not separate from each other. other words, another word for awareness is the Great Mother. She is singing now through the air condition. She's expressing herself through this voice. She's playing through your thoughts. She's dancing through the sacred energies flowing through your body. She's everything. This too. She's your breath. She's your pain. Recognize thoughts as thoughts. Each breath is sacred. Each feeling. The sensation of the feet on the floor. It's her touching the earth. The feeling of aliveness in your hands. It's her wanting to touch. Your deepest despair, crying out for her, is her. Great Mother, you're residing in our hearts. Please reveal yourself. We are ready. Your thoughts are the ornaments of the Great Mother. The passing cars are her mantra. Your restlessness is her sacred creativity. Your pain is her love. What is experiencing this? You can't say, so don't say it. What is experiencing this? What is aware? So we have a break soon. And we are still in the section of the text where Jingme Lingpa is showing us the limitations of the conceptual mind by making fun of the different conceptual maps of the path. And the first one was the Shravakayana Yana vehicle, so the vehicle of the listeners, and then came the vehicle of the Pratyakya Buddhas, self-realization practitioner. And now in verse 1.6 he goes to the Mahayana. He calls them followers of awakening being. Followers of awakening being. So that's the translation of Ken MacLeod, of the Mahayana, followers of awakening being. And as in the other verses, he starts with giving us some pointers, some words connected with mind itself. So mind itself, again, mind itself is what I just tried to share. So mind itself is another word for Tara, for emptiness, for Rigpa, for the source, for the ground of being. So mind itself innately complete in all its potential. Innately complete in all its potential. So remember one thing in the beginning when Ken MacLeod was introducing this text. He said something like, listen to these sentences like you're listening to a piece of music, like to a poem, and see what happens. If there's some response. And if not, okay, not all the poems being written are for us. Innately complete. Innately means inborn, inherently. Innately means it's not something which comes and goes. It's part of the package, innately. So mind and self, innately complete. Complete. So we have the title of our course, Complete. In all its potential. So that's the potentiality of emptiness. Emptiness is not empty. Empty is full of potentiality. Complete in all its potential. And then he says, is conceived in uncontrived naturalness. So mind itself, innately complete in all its potential, is conceived in uncontrived naturalness. So that's something, could be like an inquiry question for us. Like a koan. What does it mean to be uncontrived natural? What does it mean? So again, that's you could also say, I mean, your response now could be, I give a shit. Yeah, but that's why it's so important that that this kind of inquiry question come from you. Yeah. So you read this text and you come across uncontrived naturalness, and something in you like pauses. And then instead of me, asking that question, something in you comes in uncontrived naturalness. Uncontrived naturalness. Maybe you can also try to translate it into Swedish and chew on that. uncontrived naturalness. When you contemplate uncontrived naturalness as feeling into that, what does it mean? One part of that exploration is that probably we start to see that we are often not uncontrived natural. There's definitely room for growth. Being at ease. So wonderful, these moments when we are just at ease with the people who are present in that moment. Okay, so let's have a break, 10 minutes.